Good day, everyone. My name is Keith Hersey, Dr. Keith Hersey. I am the proud owner of Hersey Pharmacy in Durham, North Carolina, which is located about 20 miles west of Raleigh. A lot of people like to put Raleigh, Durham together, but they're actually two separate cities, about 20 some miles apart. So I just wanted to introduce everyone. This is my debut podcast. We're calling the podcast Destroying Diabetes. And what I would like to be able to give to you is some hopefully great information that you can use about diabetes. And I want to work together with you and partner and try to either reverse diabetes, type 2 diabetes, which that can happen, or alleviate some of the bad symptoms, get your blood sugar under control so you don't move to the path of losing the eyesight, losing a limb, or being at high risk for heart attack or stroke. We want to move you off of that pathway and move to a healthier pathway, whether you still have to take type 2 diabetes medication or not. My ultimate goal for people, if they join me, my program, is to reverse type 2 diabetes where they will need very little or no medication at all, and can maintain that with various lifestyle changes that we work with our patients, and that's ultimately our goal. And some patients that may not be possible, but we can get the symptoms, the real bad symptoms under control, get your blood sugar at a controllable level so that you're not, again, going to the pathway of adding on more medications, increasing insulin doses, maxing insulin doses, in danger of going blind or losing an organ or losing a foot or a knee or underneath. So let's work together. This is a passion of mine, and I really feel like it's so important. That's why I want to podcast it to all over the world. Like I said, I'm based in Durham, North Carolina, but I can work with you with their great technology that we have now. I can work with anybody in the United States, or even if you're not in the United States, I could work with you. So that's one of the great things about our new technology now, is that we're not limited by geography. And if you live in the Raleigh-Durham area and you want to come by and get on our program, that's fine too. You can contact us and physically come by the pharmacy and meet me, and we can start working together. Just a little bit of background about myself. Like I said, I'm Dr. Keith Hersey. I've been practicing pharmacist just starting my 20th year as a pharmacist. And it's been a lot of ups and downs in the 20 years of being a pharmacist. But the thing that I enjoyed most is working with patients and getting their medication needs set. And now my focus is more on trying to alleviate disease, especially the disease that are crippling like our country, diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, arthritis, strokes, heart attacks. Yeah, all those are tied into inflammation. And if we can find ways, I can help you find a way to reduce that inflammation. Those medical conditions could be under control, and some may even be eliminated. So I want this to be a form of information that you can tune in, get some vital information If you feel like you have enough information that you want to work with me, then just contact me, and I'll give the best ways to contact me at the end of the podcast. Like I said, I've been a pharmacist in a community setting. I pretty much have worked my entire pharmacy career in the community setting. When I say community setting, it's what the thing that most people are familiar with, like the pharmacy that you see, Walgreens, CVS, or independent pharmacy that you see, that you go in and visit the pharmacist and get medications and get questions answered. So I've spent my entire pharmacy career working in various settings. I've worked at Walgreens, worked at Rite Aid, Eckerd's. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but those are the three main ones that I worked at. In 2019, me and my wife decided to start our own pharmacy, which we opened in January of 2020, and been going for about 3.5 years now. So, and that's really, we had the bright idea of opening a pharmacy right in the midst of a pandemic. Of course, we didn't know it was a pandemic when we opened. Just within 2 months of us opening, then everything shut down, as everyone can remember. And we had to go from there. So needless to say, it's been a big challenge for us these past 3 years, just getting started and getting established, because we had all of the usual roadblocks for any new business, and then compounded by being in the midst of a global pandemic. Well recommended. So, but we made it through, and just, hopefully we can keep going. Like I said, I live in Durham, North Carolina. Durham's, one of their nicknames is the City of Medicine because of the medical facilities, namely Duke University Hospital. And then also we have University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill has clinics here too. So the amount of medical facilities that's located in this area is outstanding. You don't see that much in any place in the country. To have access to that is something that I think a lot of the people take for granted, that people that live here, because if you ever live somewhere else, you find to get this top quality healthcare right at around the corner, or down the street, or a short car ride away. It's kind of unique. I mean, most places don't have access to these type of facilities. So, but in Durham, just like everywhere else in the United States and getting worldwide, we have a major problem. Our problem is diabetes, namely type 2 diabetes. Most of that has come about because of, I believe, like several things. The poor quality of the food that we have now, because we have big food making everything to keep everything preserved and making the most profit from it. We've added all sorts of chemicals and additives that are not good for us, not nutritional sound for us either. And it triggers our appetite to make us crave more of it, so we'll buy more of it. And so we're getting more and more of the bad stuff. And also it tunes our taste buds out of the good stuff, vegetables and fruits that we need and that we should consume more, which we don't. And myself included. I'm not singling out anybody. I that's why I want to have this podcast too, because I have similar problems that you have. I am a type 2 diabetic myself. I know firsthand about all of the struggles in trying to contain your blood sugar, trying to reduce some of the symptoms and side effects, trying to deal with some of the side effects of some of the medications. So I know that firsthand. So I'm not talking from something I don't know about or experience. I think actually that helps me understand when I work with patients that, hey, I'm like you. I've suffered from this. I've been a type 2 diabetic, almost the same length that I've been a pharmacist, maybe about 19 years. It was interesting. My father, um, he was a diabetic. And, back at that time, pretty much the only thing that people had was insulin. And, it was the animal based insulin, the old pork insulin that people used to have, not the synthetic insulin that most people have now. So I watched him, growing up, having to give himself shots. And I thought as a child that wouldn't be me. And he tried to say, well, you don't want it to be you because, this stuff makes you feel bad. Um, in fact, he discovered that he was a diabetic. Thankfully, it wasn't a tragic case. He actually was driving to pick up my older brother from a football practice to pick him up. And he said on the way there that he lost his vision. He couldn't really drive. So he was able to somehow get to the high school. I don't know how. I just think that God maybe intervened. And, he was able to get to the high school. He got himself checked into the hospital, and they had diagnosed him with diabetes, that his blood sugar was so high that his vision was suffering, and that if he didn't get it under control, he could lose his sight. So, I mean, that's not the way to discover, but he did that way. And unfortunately, most people, if they discover diabetes, and maybe not something to that extreme, usually they're suffering symptoms such as like frequent thirst, excessive thirst, frequent urination. They may have some like pains, and and people can either have, sometimes they can have weight gain, and sometimes they can have weight loss because of diabetes being under over control, that they're losing weight. And so I've been that the way that I initially got the first thing to find out, it wasn't as dramatic as it was with my father, but what happened was that I was at a pharmacy conference, and one of the people that was set up at one of the booths, they were doing just ran blood glucose checks, and they were testing out their new machine, which they wanted pharmacies to get purchased, and so during the break, just a bunch of us just went over and just got their blood glucose check, and I think mine was almost 300. And, I had no idea. I mean, even though I look back on it and I could see that I was suffering some of the symptoms about the urination and the thirst, but I didn't realize, or maybe we were in denial what was causing it. And this way, I mean, we did eat a while, but it wasn't like right away from that. Maybe it was like an hour or so after 8. If you have a normal blood glucose level, it should never be close to 300, even if you ate a whole bunch of food, because your body should be able to self-regulate and keep the glucose under control. If your blood glucose is ever near 300, you have a problem somewhere. So, so they said, well, you need to get this checked out because, that's unusual. And which I did. And of course, my doctor diagnosed me as having type 2 diabetes. At first, you're in denial about it. You don't want to accept it, especially if you know that it ran in your family and then you haven't. And then, of course, for me being on top, being a health professional, having it, you feel like that you should have known better or did better. So, and over time, it progressed from, well, I tried doing changing diet, but unfortunately, I wasn't able to stick to a diet. And then I tried to, I tried various medications. Started on metformin. Uh, Metformin had a lot of bad side effects for me, so I was limited in being able to take that. And eventually, it got to a point over the years that glucose levels continued to rise, and started insulin. It got it assigned more insulin, more products, and it just gets to the point where you're on multiple medications, dealing with multiple side effects, and then now the cost, even though you have a copay, but of course the copay, like insulin and the newer products that they're only available on brand name, don't have generic, so they have higher copays. And if you're taking multiple ones, that can add up even with insurance. So we're here, we're working together, my glucose down, and I want to help you get yours down. And I just wanted to just tell you about it and just encourage you. I know that it's hard. It's easy to be in denial. It's some people, you may feel like some embarrassment sometimes because you feel like that, that you failed. And I don't want anybody to ever take it like just beat themselves up over it. You have a chronic disease, but a chronic disease that can be reversed, can be corrected. You just takes some lifestyle changes, getting active will help. But the biggest thing is the diet, because you can, like they said, you can't outrun a bad diet. So when I say diet, it's not someone like restrictive and starving yourself to death, but choosing better things to eat, having a diet more geared to fruits and vegetables rather than starches and heavy carbs makes a big difference. You can really change your blood glucose level a lot more with just making dietary changes than even with exercise, even though you should exercise and it's good for your heart health and it will help keep your blood glucose levels under control. So not to say that you don't that, but the most important aspect is diet, what we put in, And on my next podcast, I'm going to go over exactly what diabetes is and some myths about it. And so that should be an interesting conversation. And also, I plan on the podcast to have some people, colleagues and people that I've met, experts on different aspects of diabetes. They come in and can pass along some information that may be, definitely be helpful to me and may be helpful to you as well. So I look forward to doing that, and I definitely look forward to doing that. And so I just wanted to thank you for listening to this podcast. Please spread the word about this podcast. You can listen to this podcast wherever the main places that you listen and look up your podcast. Please, I really want to spread the word about this. This is information. Let's say type 2 diabetes is so prevalent in this country that everybody knows somebody that has it, even if you don't have it yourself. Then there's usually friends or family members that have this. I really want to help them. I really want to. The goal is to get it under control, and maybe even, like I said, if with a lot of dedication and work with our program, to have it reversed. So if you have any questions or concerns, the email to reach me is Hersey, Hersey, health at gmail.com. Just any questions you want to say, any comments that you have about it, or any ideas that you have for episodes, please pass that along to me. I look at every single one of them. So please, I want to have feedback. I want to have the program to be as beneficial to you as possible, because I'm doing this to help myself and help you as well. We want to get to the goal that we have minimized or reversed type 2 diabetes. And I would love to work with you. If you want to work with me, please email me as well. I can send you information if you want to pursue it further. But please, so I really thank you for taking a few minutes of your day to listen to me, and I will be able to come back from time to time, hopefully, with future podcasts, and just like our podcast. If you want to give us a good review, do that. If you want to subscribe to make sure that you get notice when a new episode is up, do that as well. Please, now, I need you to help promote this. This is life-saving information that we're passing along here. It can save a friend's or loved one's life, just getting this information and getting the diabetes under control. So again, contact me with that email address. Thank you so much for listening to our first episode, and I wish you a good day. And again, blessings to you. And I hope to hear from some people. Please feel free to send me an email. I'll be glad to get in and out, respond as soon as I'm able to. And like I said, please let everyone know about this podcast. If this podcast, like I said, it's truly, it may save someone's life, may save a friend or loved one's life. So thank you again, and I hope to talk to you soon. In the next episode, we will go over what diabetes is and what diabetes isn't. Take care.